the killer, Kyle Rittenhouse, who has been given every break possibly imaginable by a lunatic judge. I have a case for it. Let me give you some background. Now, the Oscar-worthy performance was this. Here it is.
And there were three people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what That's what I run.
We're gonna just take time for our break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir. We're gonna take a break about 10 minutes, and please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, action. Did you see him look at the judge? Like, damn, judge, when are you gonna come save me? I mean, I'm putting on my best performance here. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse wants you to believe, and his defense attorneys, they want you to believe that everybody else was the boogeyman. But it was Kyle Rittenhouse who had the semi-automatic weapon. He's the scariest damn thing next to the police on those streets that night. It gets deeper. Now remember, this is the same judge who made a ruling in a motion saying that you cannot refer to the victims as victims, but you can refer to the victims as arsonists and rioters. Even the one that survived. By the way, nobody's been charged with anything like that, but you can refer to those who are dead as criminal, but you cannot refer to them as victims because it somehow just biases the jury against this poor, young, white killer, Kyle Rittenhouse, okay? This is the judge you're dealing with. The judge had another outburst because the prosecutor was trying to introduce relevant evidence. Here it is.
I didn't admit it in this case because to me, what I've heard in this trial, and by the way, Mr. Richards absolutely correctly points out that just hours ago, I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the defense
Don't
testimony.
get brazen with me. You knew very well. You know very well that an attorney can't go into these types of areas when the judge has already ruled without asking outside the presence of the jury to do so. So don't give me that.
I mean, damn, the judge is treating the prosecutor like the killer, treating Rittenhouse like he's a clerk of the court. What in the hell is going on here? I mean, he had none of that energy for the killer that's on the stand, who's crying his crocodile tears on cue. So now the judge does not want particular information introduced in front of the jury. We know exactly what he did not want the jury to be made aware of. Here it is.
It looks like one of them has a weapon. She hung up. Bro, I wish I had my I'd start shooting rounds at them.
Yeah, see, the judge did not want you to hear that. The judge did not want the jury in particular to hear that. This happened days before the fatal shootings. Rittenhouse and his friend were in a car watching people leave a CVS store across the street. Rittenhouse apparently believed the people leaving the store had robbed or maybe shoplifted. Okay, that was his personal belief. He's entitled to that. Then Rittenhouse said something quite telling. He said, and I quote, "I wish I had my AR. I'd fire some rounds at them." See, that's called murder. If you shoot someone for shoplifting, that's murder. That is murder. And the prosecution wanted to introduce this evidence as prior acts to prove a pattern and also to prove state of mind. Great, that is allowable. But in the judicial system, judges have wide discretion as it relates to these items. very wide discretion. Okay, let me break this part down because I think it's very important, okay? There are people saying, well, this is all about self-defense, and if you can simply prove self-defense, Kyle Rittenhouse goes home. I don't think the prosecution has done a great job presenting the case. That's my personal belief. But let me remind you of something. Kyle Rittenhouse unlawfully had a firearm. Let's start there. You don't get to walk around with an unlawful firearm and be an unlawful individual having a firearm. And if somebody tries to lawfully disarm you, you kill them and scream self-defense. It does not work that way. So, months ago, Binger, who is the prosecutor, sought to introduce the video as evidence of other acts that he said showed Rittenhouse's state of mind, his willingness or desire to use deadly force to protect property without full information. Schroeder, the judge, said he was strongly leaning toward not allowing it. Oh, that's just too prejudicial. Under Wisconsin statutes, let me remind everyone of this. It's an important dynamic. Under Wisconsin statutes that say anyone under 18 who goes armed with any deadly weapon is already guilty of a Class A misdemeanor, period. Kyle Rittenhouse was 17, was not old enough to legally carry the assault style rifle he had. Rittenhouse could also be in violation of a gun within a gun-free zone, another legal violation if there was one covering, for instance, a school nearby. Also, Illinois law requires anyone, no exception, anyone who owns any kind of firearm in that state to have what's called a firearm owner's identification card, but that is only available to someone 21 years of age or older, another violation of law. The friend of this killer, Kyle Rittenhouse, his name is Dominic Black. Mr. Black was carrying his own semi-automatic rifle in Kenosha that same night. Mr. Black testified that he used Mr. Rittenhouse's money to buy a comparable rifle for him at a hardware store in northern Wisconsin, May of 2020, when Mr. Black was 18, but Mr. Rittenhouse was underage. Guess what happened to Mr. Black? Mr. Black is now charged with 2 felonies because he provided the gun to the underage Mr. Rittenhouse. So you mean to tell me that it's illegal to give Rittenhouse a gun, but it's legal for Rittenhouse to kill 2 people and try to kill a third with that same gun? I'm not following the logic here. And the prosecution needs to step up their aggression because that's the case to make it a home run. Kyle Rittenhouse was an unlawful individual with a firearm unlawfully, period. He created the entire circumstance that led to the murder of 2 people and attempted murder of the third. Not complex here, but the judge is not doing the prosecution any favors. Senator Turner, your thoughts?
They need you, first of all, on that team, just right off the bat. That'll clear that right up, because they need somebody with your chutzpah to go head to head with that judge. Judge acting like Rittenhouse is his son.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he acting, and you're right. Academy Award winning performance, turned to the judge. Judge said, let's go on, it's time for a recess anyway, let's go on recess. But as you lay it out, Rittenhouse was looking for what happened that night. And unfortunately, because he was looking for trouble, he found trouble, and he caused trouble in the lives of many people, especially the families of the people who were killed. It just doesn't, well, I won't say it don't make sense. This is a pattern in the legal system. And so when we talk about systemic issues that need to be changed within the justice system, this is yet one more example. It reminds me of what happened when the church was shot up, or the people in the church were shot, and they take this roof and take them to Burger King. I mean, they treating these people as if they're not the criminals. They are, in fact, the criminals. Rittenhouse is a criminal. You already laid out several charges that should be pending against him right now, even before the murder charges.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And also to note, it is illegal in Wisconsin under Wisconsin law to use deadly force in the protection of someone else's property. That's another statutory violation of Rittenhouse. Let me take you to.
They acting like they were playing a video game in some way. The way he was, I rewatched the video of him walking through the crowd. I mean, in some way, they acting like they were playing a video game or something, that there was not going to be a real consequence for their actions.
Yep. And listen, they may have been right, Senator. And that's the irony and the sadness of it all.